Praise the Lord. We're once again glad to have you here for our program for Men Only. We've been talking about something I saw on one of the news channels about really ladies complaining about the young men of today, this generation, that really it's hard for them to find a man kind of thing because a lot of the young men have spent all their time in front of computers and TV screens and things like that, and that women are actually having a hard time finding some real men. Now, I might say to some of you watching, or maybe if you're flipping through here, you might want to watch this program because maybe if you can learn some of the things we're sharing with you, maybe you can make yourself a good pick for some women out there that are out there looking for a real man. And if maybe you can learn some things, you might become the man that they're looking for. So, we let Kim Shear here is one of my men with me. We've been friends for 20, long time, a lot of years.
I could count.
Yeah, a long time. But you were sharing earlier, you shared how, really you went from an irresponsible man to a responsible man. Mm-hmm. And then we've got Eric Francic and Adam Stokes. Now, guys, in talking about that, as we were talking the first part of the program, just before the commercial, Eric, we'll start with you. I mean, I know some of your story. I mean, you were one of those guys who spent a lot of time in front of a computer, too.
Yes, I was.
And we won't talk. Yeah, we won't talk about what you were looking at. But what happened? I mean, I wouldn't consider you in that group. I mean, you're a responsible young man. Now, at my age, I'm going to call you a young man. All right.
Okay.
You're responsible. You're a good husband. You're a good father. You're a good worker. I mean, you still got areas to grow in, but and you got some leadership. What helped make that change?
It's finding the image of the man that I wanted to be.
Ooh.
I had to find myself a mentor, a man, maybe a couple of men actually, it turned out for me to be several. Just someone that said, I want to be like that guy. And just saying, okay, now what about this guy do I like? What about him don't I like? And really, Jesus is the ultimate mentor.
Yeah,
holy cow, is that a standard to live up to?
Yeah. Amen.
But in the meantime, I've got a couple of lesser standards, so make my steps up.
Okay.
And one of the things, like my grandfather, always up at like 5 a.m., no alarm clock, he's always up. He starts his day, he gets his stuff done.
That's where it starts.
And that's one thing I liked. He didn't sleep the day away. He didn't wake up and the morning's not even there. He knew what morning was. I looked for men that got things done that they said they were going to do. That was very important to me. I didn't want to be a man that says, oh, yeah, I'll do that. And then it never gets done and I let a bunch of people down. I want to be that guy that comes through.
Now, in one sense, you valued it so you could see it in others.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't value it,
then I wouldn't be looking for it.
it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. It's just like, if you buy a car, if you buy a different car than what you usually have. I mean, I drive a Ford 500. Mm-hmm. Once I bought that thing, I started seeing 500s all over the place. Yeah. But until you have, it, you don't notice them. Sure. But what you value, you begin to notice.
Yeah.
And to a degree, if we value that irresponsible man, if that, it's like, I hate to mention there's a famous actor right now that's getting a lot of press. But his irresponsibility and his rock star, he calls it a rock star lifestyle, that, if you value that, it's like I preach a message on heroes, and one of those Ed Cole sayings is, there's good things and bad things. There's good news and bad news about your heroes. The good news about your heroes is you'll become like your heroes. The bad news about your heroes is you'll become like your heroes. Whoever your hero is, whoever it is you aspire to be like, you become like.
Yeah.
But one of your keys is you saw the value in a real man and could recognize it.
And he showed me how to apply what I value today. Like Jesus, he's got a lot of great examples. But to find a godly man in a church and see how he applies Jesus to today is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like filet mignon. You just eat it and love it.
Yeah,
okay, all right. Oh, man. Now, Adam, I know a little bit of your story. Now, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of how I've seen you grow because I've known you for a while. And if I could say it this way, I've known you in your immature stage. Yep. and I see you in a more mature stage.
Less immature.
Yeah, okay, that's all right. Yeah, okay. And we don't want to go into all the immature stage, but there's definitely been a change, that I've seen in your life. What are some of the things in there that transition, that bridge, that took you from childhood, in a sense, that immaturity to maturity? What are some of the bridges across that chasm?
Sure. Well, for me, my story was similar to Kim's in that, it really took, getting married and having my first child, and that responsibility that comes and hits you, is what really got me going. But, I found out that my way was not the way to do it. I was the epitome of selfish, and to me, being childlike and being selfish are the same things.
Yeah.
So I found out in the family atmosphere, being selfish doesn't work very well. So, it took my family life going down the tubes, and almost cost me my marriage. Before I started to realize, selfishness isn't going to cut it. So it took hard work and just one decision at a time, but slowly got things back on the right track.
Okay. Selfishness can be the wrong things you look at on the computer, the wrong places you go. Mm-hmm. And Kim, we've talked about some of the places you used to go as a young man. Mm-hmm. Some of the people you're around, some of the, just the activities, whether it's, you talk about playing softball. I mean, you're a hunter, you're a fisherman,
mm-hmm.
and those things aren't necessarily bad, but it's where that consumes your life.
Exactly.
Yep. So when we get down to selfishness, but a lot of times it could be out at the bar, with the friends, with the wife sitting at home, and never there. You're never there.
That's right.
So to define that selfishness is really that aspect of just thinking about yourself. How do you think different today? What is the thinking pattern? Because that's part of what Paul said. I thought as a child. What way do you think different now?
Well, now you realize to have a healthy family, you have to invest into that family. You have to invest time into my children, invest time into my wife, and that doesn't always mean me being on a golf course by myself. So it's just those decisions. Okay, well, how can I benefit my wife? How can I sow into my kids today? Just asking yourself those questions and making sure you give yourself time for that every day. It's not a once a month kind of a thing. It's an everyday kind of a thing. Sure. That means you have to put away your selfishness every day.
Just tonight is Monday night is my wife's dance night. She goes out and dances for exercise, and she doesn't get home till late. I mean, she gets out at 6:30. By the time she gets home, it's almost 7 o'clock. So on Monday nights, I typically will make supper. I mean, she'll set something out. I'm not a very good cook, okay? So she sets the directions out and all this stuff, and then I say, okay, I do this with this. And it comes out all right. I mean, she's always been really happy. And tonight I needed to come here for taping, so I didn't know if I had time. But I got home and I hustled up some spaghetti and some spaghetti sauce and just did it up real quick and left it on the stove, so it would probably be warm by the time she got home, so she'd have something to eat when she got home. In the olden days, give me a break. There's no
She's
way.
supposed to cook for you.
There's
You're
no
not supposed
way
to.
I would have done that. So that's just an example.
Yeah.
I think that
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Adam, you said that, and I read something. You've got 3 kids. I've got 7. All right, and all from the same wife. And it's our family. It's not a blended family. But somebody asked me that I don't claim to have a perfect family, and my kids aren't perfect, but they're fairly decent. I mean, they're. Would you say my kid? All right.
Yeah.
My kids are decent. And somebody asked me the other day, what was some of the keys? What was some of the things you did that, help your kids turn out the way they did? And I said, I sat and I thought, and I remember that real young, when our kids were young, I read something somewhere that said kids to end up emotionally healthy, they needed about 20 minutes a day of undivided attention from their parents.
Yep.
And I just determined, you got 7 of them, you start doing the math. But I just determined, try to spend, my wife would spend some time, but I mean, but it's amazing that 20 minutes when you have to turn off what you want on the television, or to put away the computer, or put down the book, or do whatever, just to spend 20 minutes of undivided attention with my kids. And not think about me, but think about them. Tell them stories, play with them, wrestle with them, tickle them. We played hide and go tickle. It wasn't hide and go seek, it was hide and go tickle. So I'd count and they'd go running, and if I'd count to 30, they'd all jump out and say, "Here we are, Dad." They wanted to be tickled. But yet, that whole thing, that emotional health, it just takes not thinking about yourself. Praise God. This was a great program, guys. We hope you enjoyed today's program. Maybe you need to mark this someplace on your computer or what have you, as this is a program, because you may know people that need to see this and might need to watch this or see this again. So listen, we're so glad you joined us. We trust you'll join us again for Men Only.